welcome to Tête à Tête, France 24's flagship interview show. Our guest this week for an exclusive interview is the Attorney General of Venezuela, Tarek Saab. He is with us from Caracas. Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you to you for giving me an opportunity to speak here today.
On January 3rd, a U.S. commando captured Nicolas Maduro and his wife Celia Flores in Caracas. They are now sitting in a New York jail, accused by U.S. authorities of narco-trafficking. So are you considering initiating legal action with the Inter-American Court of Human Rights or with the International Criminal Court?
Well, in the first place, I must say what took place with regard to the president and his wife, Celia Flores, First Lady of the Venezuelan Republic, is an unprecedented event which marks before and an after with regard to contemporary history in Latin America and the Western Hemisphere. A president who has immunity is being tried, and as I said before, he has complete personal immunity as a head of state and as a president who's been sworn in before. So nobody outside Venezuela can judge him. So when the U.S. Justice Department, on the basis of what has been said with regard to President Maduro in terms of accusation of drug trafficking, the U.S. Justice Department itself has indicated that the Los Soles cartel does not exist. And this was supposed to be the very organization that Nicolas Maduro was heading. So there is no basis or foundation for these accusations. This means that Nicolas Maduro needs to be freed immediately along with his wife, and this is what we have clearly stated. We are in contact with the international organizations, and what we're doing alongside with the Chancellery is to make progress with regard to this issue. If you would allow me, it's clear that the UN itself has clearly indicated that this unilateral action is unprecedented within the Western Hemisphere in Latin America, and above all in the way it is undertaken to kidnap an elected president by a foreign power with regard to seizing the natural resources of a nation. Would French society accept this? Would the French people indeed accept this? Or would the French institutions accept this? The answer is clearly no, and this is reality. Everything else is excuses. The underlying issue is what I've just been telling you.
During the U.S. raid, Venezuelan military personnel and civilians died. You said 3 officials would be appointed to investigate what happened. Will they actually carry out an investigation? Or, because of the Trump administration and its pressure, it's impossible for the Venezuelan government to do so?
No, this is what we're doing. Independently of what you're talking about, we have our legal system, which acts in the favor of human rights of our people, and we are investing in this, and this will be done in real time. We have made progress in this direction. It's not yet finished, and at the right time, we will sum up the situation. But the legal authorities are active, and in fact, more than 100 people have lost their lives, innocent people have lost their lives during these attacks. They were ambushed in the early hours of the morning of the 3rd of January in an unprecedented event, in violation of a country's airspace and in violation of its sovereignty. So, in fact, we're basically talking about an invasion, a military action, I repeat, which is wholly without international law. And I say that for Venezuela, international law has died. It should be clear, as I say, international law has died at this time.
Mr. Attorney General, on January 8th, the President of the National Assembly, Jorge Rodriguez, announced that Venezuela would release a quote-unquote significant number of detainees. So releases have been occurring on a daily basis. However, human rights NGOs say the pace should be much faster. Is your goal to free all the political prisoners, around 800 of them, or are you going to retain some of them?
Well,
I don't think this is not something that should be reviewed as an exceptional situation. But of course, I understand that what has happened has been given a great deal of focus in the media. But what I underline that these acts and these special change of means are ongoing in Venezuelan justice, and this will carry on.
So are you going to free all of them, like Jorge Rodriguez seemed to indicate?
No, it takes place on a case-by-case basis. Everything depends on what those who have breached the law have done. I don't say that this applies to everybody. We will investigate this, and this will unroll as it has always done so before.
Donald Trump said that Nicolas Maduro had a torture chamber in downtown Caracas, which the government of Venezuela is now in the process of closing. He was obviously referring to El Helicoide. Will this prison indeed be shut down?
Making statements of this type without clear proof is part of the cognitive war which is underway. We have been victims of a war.
But there are testimonies from people who were held in this jail. Are you going to close it or not?
No, but you're just speaking on a unilateral basis. I'm not the right person to talk about this. First, because I'm Attorney General for the Republic, in charge of citizen power. I look after the penal activities with regard to justice, human rights, and legal procedures. I'm not an administrator dealing with the jails, and therefore I can't give a response in this sense. I'm only referring to systematic use of human rights as a way to attack Venezuela, and you have seen that this measure has received worldwide condemnation.
President Trump says he considers the Venezuelan government headed by Delcy Rodriguez as an ally. He says we have a very good relationship. Do you agree? Because we hear you denouncing the actions of the United States, but Donald Trump says everything is fine. There is cooperation now with the United States. Is there cooperation indeed?
But when the Council of Ministers met and when the Council of Security and Defense met, Delcy Rodriguez similarly made similar condemnations to what I've been saying with regard to what's happened. This should be clear. So what we need now is dialogue, and that this not escalates in terms of violence. And then what we need to return to is real issues with regard to civilized countries, that is to say dialogue, democracy and peace. And this is what we're pushing forward for so that we don't fall back. So there must be no repetition of actions such as we saw on the 3rd of January. And national sovereignty in Venezuela must be respected.
Donald Trump shared a post on his social media recently claiming to be the interim president of Venezuela starting in January 2026. It was like a Wikipedia entry. Well, maybe it was seen as a joke, but maybe there is some truth to it that the president of Venezuela is indeed Donald Trump. Isn't he the one deciding everything?
The president of Venezuela is Delcy Rodriguez.
Isn't the president Donald Trump, actually?
Who is the president of France?
Emmanuel Macron.
Who?
Emmanuel Macron.
Could it be Donald Trump, President of France, as a United States citizen? Is that true? Can he be?
No.
So, a foreigner who is not born here cannot be president. This constitution indicates who can be president here. There are codes, norms, etc., which must be respected with regard to birth. So, the current president of Venezuela is Dr. Rodriguez.
What do you make of the reports claiming that there was a secret agreement between Delcy Rodriguez and the Trump administration to oust Nicolas Maduro?
No, this is all part of the war. It's been clearly shown that this is false. There have been over 100 deaths, people who are also in no way related with a specific military target. Civil persons died. They were bombarded. So, all this is being investigated, and the truth and documentation will be declassified in due course so that we will be able to see the truth. So we said initially that this was an operation of an imperialistic nature, one which is very bloody and planned to seize the natural resources of Venezuela. To seize Venezuela's natural resources. So this is all being said to encourage divisions, and this will not occur.
Última pregunta, señor fiscal. Last question, Mr. Attorney General. There is indeed cooperation, as both Donald Trump and Delcy Rodriguez have stated, between the United States and Venezuela. For instance, ships are being seized. So do you imagine normal relations and even diplomatic relations between Washington and Caracas?
Of course. This is what I've been saying from the beginning. Peace, dialogue, this is what we need. And this exists in countries which are engaged in this dialogue via the UN. And this occurs via allies and friendly countries, so that dialogue and negotiation continues, and so that these actions cease. I say that what took place as of 3rd of January is far removed from diplomacy.
Tarek William Saab, Attorney General of Venezuela, thank you very much for granting us this exclusive interview, and thank you all for watching it here on France 24.